Hey, I'm Zach from India, and I'm pumped to share something epic with you guys. I'm a gamer, and I dream of games where stories shift with my every move, not just some canned scripts, but real immersion. With that said, let me introduce you to Live NPC Engine. The Live NPC Engine paves way for agentic game development in the future. All games are going to be much more immersive and much more agentic. Every action you make in the game will have consequences. Sometimes it feels absolutely real. So, without further ado, let me take you into the demo. Here, we are trying to simulate one of the best masterpieces, Game of Thrones, which indeed is a narrative experience, like a multi narrative experience. There are different characters doing different things, and there are overlaps happening at so many junctions. And that is why this show is well regarded as one of the masterpieces of the last decade. So right now, what we have here is a couple of personas completely built by AI, and each of this persona has an ID name and a couple of traits here like honor, loyalty, intelligence, emotional intelligence, their evil nature, selflessness, ambition, and all of these things. And persona has been built here, and there are like multiple personas, and each of them belong to a different house. They live in a different place, and they're currently doing different stuff. What happens to these NPCs when a world event triggers is what we're going to try to emulate here. So on the right, we have some authentic Game of Thrones world events. So we'll start with the first one where John Arryn dies. So when I've executed this world event, what happens in the back end is that this event gets passed to the live NPC engine, and the live NPC engine starts emulating such an event occurring for all of their personas and keeps updating their current behavior. This will affect the traits and also their current behavior. So for now, it was a simple starting point. So you can see that Mr. Eddard Stark has changed his behavior, where he was like managing Winterfell's affairs with honor. Now he's contemplating about the implications of Jon Arryn's death. And for somebody who isn't totally related with it, example of somebody from like Tully, they're still evaluating, like they were managing Riverrun while aging family focused, but now they're evaluating how the power shift affects the Riverland security. This is not a big incident, right? It was just like the triggering point. None of this data is pulled from the story, so it has no relation with the story. Probably the LLMs have a little bit of understanding, but when I ran through the entire world events, it was completely different. Let's trigger the next one and let's see how certain things change. So what happens here is Bran Stark of House Stark is pushed over the tower by Jaime Lannister. So what happens here with Stark? Stark is racing to Bran's side. He's consumed by rage and fear for his son's survival. And then the mother, she's frantically tending to Bran. What about the sister? She's praying fervently for his recovery. Okay, the family is going to support the brother, and this nature is achieved because of the agentic capacity with the context of how each and every persona talks to each other. Um, what about Tywin Lannister? He's coldly calculating how to contain the fallout and protect the House Lannister, just how Tywin Lannister, who is a Lannister and the Lord who's managing Casterly Rock, would think, right? So this is how each and every NPC works and talks and triggers to them, and their nature and everything keeps going up and down. Let's check about Jaime Lannister, who was the one who pushed, right? Before, his evilness was at 42. Now it's at 62. It has been bounced up. His ambition, selflessness has gotten down because of his actions, because of the world trigger. Such actions and everything can completely rebuild an NPC from the scratch up. And when you keep playing the games and these triggers happen more and more frequently, your whole game experience is going to be absolutely different and totally amazing, in my opinion. So we can go ahead and execute a few more of these world triggers, but we now have a gist of what's happening. The next part, which I want to talk about, is a little bit on how this development or this engine is going to help game developers in the future. One, building NPCs is going to be super easy, right from designing, developing, building them with the same flair for the game, and giving them unique names and starting points and traits. Everything will be taken care of live NPC engine, and it will also work with the game's main engine, which will be triggering the world events, and quickly be able to control each and every persona on its own. Now, onto the second part of how this tech is possible, or why is it possible from today onwards. So the two major things which was lacking for an agentic experience was speed and capacity, or the context. So we got models which were high in context, like the Gemini 2.5 Pro, but the problem was it wasn't fast enough to be added into a game. We cannot call like 300, 400 calls in like repeatedly for updating each of these personas on their own. That is not quite possible. We need an agent which can update like all the personas in an instant. It's not just about updating them. Such an agent will have the context to actually tell or make group decisions about any of these world events. For in this case, the entirety of Stark has bonded together, and they've started fighting or fearing the Lannisters at this point. Such a nature could not exist if each of these uh, personas are like on their own. And this just took like a second for like 25 personas. And even if I had a larger context window, I'm on the free plan, if I had a larger context window, like 256 or something, we can have more than like 200, 300 personas all talking to each other and quickly analyzing and changing their behaviors based on like the world events. So that is how powerful the system is. And in the future, we're also going to make this N is to N sort of an interaction. Right now, it's like one person who plays the game triggers these world events because he's the protagonist, right? But what about multiplayer games? And so that's the use case which we're targeting. And Cerebras and like Qwen 3 code is going to be a huge help when it comes to building such an engine in the future. That's pretty much it. Thank you for hanging on. This was just a simulation. I hope you guys like Game of Thrones and gaming, and this is a combination just to get you all triggered up. But realistic agentic NPCs are just one step away, and you'll get them very soon. Thanks for watching.